President Hichilema further explains that the terminations of some government officials has also been necessitated in order to entrench a new culture of accountability in the way that government works at permanent secretary level and at senior government level. The President has also terminated the services of some ambassadors and high commissioners accredited to Zambia's various missions abroad. The President says this is in order to foster a new culture of economic diplomacy underpinned by meritocracy and to optimize the value derived from the various diplomatic relationships which Zambia keeps and continues to maintain around the world. The list of terminations and diplomatic recalls is as follows. Mr. Chanda Kabwe, National Coordinator, Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit, Headquarters, Lusaka. Ms. Juliana Shoko, Permanent Secretary, Office of the Vice President. Mr. Boniface Chibwali, Permanent Secretary, Public Service Management Division. Mr. Amos Malupenga, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. Engineer Matthew Ngulube, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Local Government. Mr. Chandakazia, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Labor and Social Security. Mr. Lennox Kalonde, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Works and Supply. Mr. Songoayo Ziambo, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture. Mr. Barnaby Mulenga, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Mines and Minerals Development. Engineer Mishek Lung, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Transport and Communications. Dr. Saston Silomba, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Gender. Mr. Masie Banda, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Home Affairs. Mr. Emmanuel Gulube, Permanent Secretary, Administration, Ministry of Health. Mr. Deni Bukali, Permanent Secretary, Western Province. Mr. Bright Nundwe, Permanent Secretary, Copperbelt Province. Mrs. Joyce Wachan Samba, Permanent Secretary, Southern Province. Engineer Charles Mushota, Permanent Secretary, Wapula Province. Mr. Willis Mangimela, Permanent Secretary, Northwestern Province. Mr. Bernard Chomba, Permanent Secretary, Central Province. Mr. Royd Mwape Chakava, Permanent Secretary, Northern Province. Mr. Amos Musonda, Chairman, Local Government Service Commission. Mr. Dixon Kayula Chasaya, Chairman, Civil Service Commission. Mr. Hilary Chipango, Vice Chairperson, Civil Service Commission. Mr. Japhet Lombe, Permanent Secretary, Eastern Province. The diplomats who've been recalled by the President: Ambassador Anthony Mukwita, Ambassador in Berlin, in Germany. Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba, Ambassador Addis Ababa in Ethiopia. Ambassador Martha Lungu Mwitumwa, Ambassador Geneva, Switzerland. Ambassador Professor Nkandu Munalula, Ambassador in Brussels, Belgium. Ambassador General Paul Mihova. High Commissioner, London in the United Kingdom. Ambassador Winnie Chiwesakunda, Ambassador Beijing in China. Ambassador Judith Kabijimpanga, High Commissioner in Delhi, India. Ambassador Benson Charlie, High Commissioner in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. Ambassador Emmanuel Chenda, Ambassador in Harare, Zimbabwe. Ambassador Daniel Chisenga, Consul General in Guangzhou, China. Ambassador Alfred Kasembe, Ambassador Brasilia, Brazil. Ambassador Ibrahim Mumba, Ambassador in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and Mr. Goodwill Lungu, Deputy High Commissioner in Gaborone in Botswana.